I am this fucking close to finally snapping. I'm about to have my villain arc. I'm about to cause problems on purpose. I'm about to be evil for the sake of being evil. I am being pushed to the edge by the rest of my peers on this god-forsaken hellscape. At this point, my two options are disappear off the face of the earth or become everyone's problem. These are the pathways you are pushing me towards. It is now time for me to teach Bozo here how to use Google. Step 1. Open your browser. Wow, I use Chrome, so already I have a Google search bar. However, I'm going to show you how to type in a URL. You will go up to the top here and type www.google.com and press enter. Wow, would you look at that? We are at Google. I shit you not. This is not witchcraft. You can type anything into this and you will get results in the millions. You no longer have to wonder what the temperature is outside. You can just type it into Google and Google will tell you. Fun fact, Google is free. I know, fucking mind-blowing. So, when you ever have an inquiry, you can just look it up on Google. In this situation, you will type in fat people get denied jobs for being fat, and you press enter. Wow, would you look at that? All of these articles. 121 million results. You have this at your fingertips. Assuming you have an internet connection. Okay, this is the part of the video where I will be genuinely helpful. I'll be less evil on purpose. Apparently, people do not know how to actually research shit, which is upsetting considering I've been learning how to research properly since I was 11. Why have your middle school and high schools failed you? Every time someone suggests they do not know how to research something, I get 50 cosmic damage. So, let's learn how to properly research because your school has failed you. Okay, so we have all this, right? Fun. First and foremost, look at the website of these links, okay? BBC.com. I would not consider that a reliable source. Now, there may be reliable sources in the article, so we will just keep this in mind and come back to it later in case we do not find much else. I would not consider The Guardian a reliable source either. Time magazine is a tried and trusted source. However, I want to see if there's anything better before we go back to Time. Time will be our second choice. Now, all of this stuff, it could be, biased, it could be, sharing bad sources. However, we get to ncbi.gov. When you are looking for a reliable source, you should first check to see if you can find a .gov or a .org. Then see what the .gov or .org is, because sometimes organizations are extremely biased, so just be careful. But down here, NCBI is trusted, and it has a .gov. So we are going to check this source first. NCBI is a library of medical articles, research, etc. So it is extremely reliable. We can rely on this website to give us good information. In this abstract here, which is basically a summary of the entire article, it answers your fucking question. Results demonstrated that participants rated obese candidates as less suitable compared with normal weight candidates, and when the weight status of the candidate was not revealed for work across 4 workplace groups. The study findings contribute to the evidence that obese people are discriminated against in hiring process and support calls for policy development. Now, you can just quickly skim through this and see what you can find. Oh my goodness, it goes through the materials and methods of the study. Would you look at that? This is probably one of the best sources you can find because it goes through the entire fucking study. Overall, the current study findings provide further evidence of obesity discrimination in the hiring process for employment. Would you look at that? It took me, a few minutes to skim the article, look at the numbers, and then I come down here to this last point and wow. Would you look at that? It answered your fucking question. And the best part about, these types of articles where they're like studies and etc. is that they will link pretty much all of their sources as well. So if you're ever like, I wonder if that's a good source, you could always just click on it and look through the source. Wow. See how fucking easy that was? And you come all the way down here, look at all of these sources that you can look through if you're not sure if you can trust it or not. You too can use Google today and stop demanding labor from other people. I want to look at this MarketWatch one and see what they have cited here. Now, this is a in-your-face title, and you could just use that, but let's go down and see what they cited. Job site Fairy God Boss recently carried out a survey of 500 hiring professionals who were shown a picture of an overweight woman and asked if they consider employing her. Only 15.6% said that they would. Plus, 1 in 5 hiring personnel characterized the woman as lazy, and slightly more, 21% called her unprofessional. Now, see this? This highlights when you put your mouse over it. Click it and see what happens. I am going to read this source here. It is from Fairy God Boss, which is an odd place to have a study, but let's read through it and see if it's good. This is the report of the survey that has been cited by 2 different articles. I will be looking through it to see if it's any good. Let's see if I can find their procedure here. Now, my issue with this survey is that I don't know how they got these 500 hiring professionals. Now, the site itself is a job-finding site. It's a networking site. So I don't know how they chose these 500 hiring professionals, and that is what's keeping me from using this as a source. I would personally use that other source if I were going to cite a source, because it outlined its entire procedure and I know exactly how they got these people. While it would be nice to be able to cite this source, I cannot say for sure whether or not it's biased. One last thing I will teach you about researching. Google has a funky fresh feature called Google Scholar. Google Scholar. Google Scholar. Here at Google Scholar, they have a bunch of research studies, peer-reviewed articles, etc. that you can, sift through when you're doing research. Google Scholar is a trusted source of information. It's a bit difficult to search on Google Scholar in comparison to Google. You have to find the right keywords. For this, we should look up fat discrimination or obesity discrimination. Now, we have all of these articles. This one right here is from 2013, which is much better than this 1994 one. You want up-to-date research. So let's see what we can find here. Wow, would you look at this? It is a whole different study that looks at the hiring process and obesity discrimination. Obesity discrimination was displayed across all selection criteria. Wow. So not only did we find a good article on normal Google, but we also found a good article on Google Scholar that proves the point. See how this article looks much like the other one, and it goes through, all of the materials and methods, etc. These are good articles, and these are the articles you should go to first and foremost. I hope you will be able to use Google from now on and stop forcing me to do your homework for you. Really. A Google search takes a few seconds, maybe 5 minutes at most, out of your day. You can do that on a train ride, on your commute home from work, assuming you are not driving. Please learn how to Google shit, or I will become your sleep paralysis demon and I will be evil on purpose. All in all, this comment doesn't annoy me because I think citing one's sources is a bad thing. This comment annoys me because A, you should not be demanding academic labor from somebody, just in general. B, they did not need to demand that labor in the first place because of how easy it is for them to look up this information. They did not need to write that comment because I just showed you how easy it is to find this information if you would have just logged off for a second and went and looked for it. Obviously, it wasn't necessary for me to have to say every single fucking source for every single fucking statement because that's unrealistic. But also, it takes a few seconds for you to look shit up that you're not sure about. But there's another facet to this that worries me. You should not only be trusting my sources. There are lots of people that say things and there is no source. You need to learn how to do your own research. Not only is finding a source for this information combating misinformation, but also doing your own research in congruence with somebody else's research is also considered combating misinformation. Even if I gave you a source, you should still look for another source. You should still do your own research because you should not trust the word of anybody. Not me, not, your favorite celebrity. You should do your own research at everything people say. We need to start normalizing, not to sound like a goddamn obnoxious Twitter user, but we need to start normalizing looking shit up all the time for literally everything, because I will say wrong things and you will say wrong things and the fucking president will say wrong things, and we need to look shit up and make sure that we're all holding each other accountable and making sure that there are multiple people doing research so we could combat misinformation and possible bias. So if you think that by me not citing the source for every fucking thing I've ever said ever is, making misinformation worse, I propose to you that you not checking my statements by yourself is also making misinformation worse. Because I could just say, hey, this thing here, and give you a fake source, and you would take it. So what I'm saying here is that constantly demanding that I do academic labor for you is not fighting misinformation like you think it is. The only way to fight misinformation is by you learning how to Google shit. Fucking Google shit.